who I am. I'm Karen Stacy. I have my own talk show. You can come to my talk show anytime. We have Coffee Talk with Karen every weekday at 11 a.m. And we have Real Talk with Karen Stacy every Tuesday at 8 p.m. It's not your mama's talk show. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. And let's have some fun, baby. You can find us on all social media platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and on MiamiMicRadio.com. Testing. Is this mic working? You better believe it is. I'll see you guys soon. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Yeah, I look like I'm in the witness protection program today. Maria, I see you because I see on my personal page, I think you're on the wrong page, Mama, because I can't see your name up there. I only happen to see it because I look down at something because I'm trying to navigate all of this. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's 2 for Tuesday. I want to get a rocking intro for you. Well, John, you disappear on me, my love. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm waiting. I'm not the tech girl, so I do all I can here. I'm always open to anybody that wants to help, especially someone unlike myself who is not technically challenged. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk with Karen. We are live on MiamiMicRadio.com. We are live on Facebook, on my personal page, on my group page. So if you haven't joined the Real Talk Coffee Talk group, please do so. If you are not on the Karen Stacy page, please jump on the Karen Stacy page. No, not you, Maria. You were Maria K. You were good. It's Maria A. that isn't in the right place. Well, you're in the right place. I just can't see some of your names. For some reason, the program that I use, some people's names come up with no problem and then other people's names don't. So if you don't hear me say your name, it means that on my end, I can't see it. I'm looking at it from a different, I'm not on each and every Facebook page. I'm on one page and everybody's posts are together. So we're also on Twitch. We're also on YouTube and we're also on Periscope. So I can see everybody's comments. Sometimes there's an issue on Facebook where I can't see your names all the time. So if I do not say your name, it means I don't see your name. So please don't take it personally. You can either go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so that I can see it, or maybe try and jump on a different page. It normally happens when people are on my personal page because that is not a public page. So sometimes I can't see it. So good morning, everybody. As I said, it's 2 for Tuesday. That means that you got me twice in one day. So I will see you guys again tonight for Real Talk with Karen Stacy at 8 p.m. And I don't know if you guys remember, we had Angelo come on, I don't know, maybe it was like a month or so ago. He had so much fun, he wanted to come back on again. So we're going to be like kind of talking about the state of affairs, so to speak, later. So a little more of a heart-to-heart, if you will. So if you guys are around tonight at 8 p.m., set a timer, do something so that you can remember. I always post after the show the next show because I create the post. So you can click on, there's a thing there that says reminder. And if you hit the reminder button, you will get an alert on your phone that I will be live in, let's say, 20 minutes or whatever. So it's definitely helpful. So thank you guys. Let me see who's here. Let me say good morning to everybody. All right, I think I got a couple of people in thus far, right? Alyssa, good morning. So we got Maria K in the house. Good morning. We got Gina. We got Rita. Rita M. Good morning. Let me see who else. Carlos, good morning. And obviously we have John from Who's Your Daddy. Good morning. I think I said good morning to Alyssa. Let me see. Let me see who else is here. Georgie is tuned in from Dublin. I will try this week because I miss you. Aw, John, I love you. Ariana. Oh, I love that name. What a sexy name. Hi, what's your name? Ariana. Oh, I like it. I like it. Good morning, Ariana. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Stephen Peter, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let's see who else. Rosie. Rosie is a representing. Rosie is too fucking cute. She's like, looks like just this sweetheart of a woman, and she's rocking my I'm That Bitch shirt like she fucking owns the joint. It is the funniest thing ever. That's why you never judge a book by its cover, because the least person you may expect to gel with something is going to be the person that's going to gel with it. So never judge a book by its cover. I love it. And I want to say thank you to those of you that did order some of the Real Talk, Coffee Talk merch. I know there are a few I still have to make and send out. I do still have a few. If you look on the pages, you can see what I still have. If you are interested in getting anything. Tony. Hi, Tony. Let me see. Okay, hold on a second. I'm not sure if I lost the comments. Oh no, I'm still here. Okay, here we go. Hold on. They all jump. You know what happens. They jump. So looking forward to tonight with Angelo. Oh, Georgie, thank you, sweetie. Spanish mommy love. Ooh. Interesting, Stephen. Why, thank you. Buongiorno. Yes, Rosie. Hi, Angelo. How are you? Eunice, my girl, I missed you yesterday, baby girl. I hope everything is okay. Let me see. Eunice, okay, you tell me which shirt you want, mama, because I have a couple of different ones, but all good. We will make it happen. We got t-shirts, we got sweatshirts, we got masks. We got cups, we got coffee mugs. I'm in slacking a little bit on some of that stuff. I needed to like regroup, you know what I'm saying? But yesterday we were talking about, I see they called me from my son's school. Now, you know what's funny for all you moms or dads out there, right? When they call you from school, you always like panic, right? But, and you can see me now. I can't see whoever just said, can you see me now? No. You know, when they call from school, normally your heart pounds out of your chest, right? Because you're like, this can't be good, but he's home. So it can't be that bad. You know, obviously I'm not in the house right now, so I can't see what's going on, but it's gotta be like something different than, you know, like no craziness. But you know how that feels, right? Everybody that's a parent out there, you get that phone call. Yeah, Maria, for some reason, I mean, I see what you're writing, but I do not see your name displayed. I'm not sure what page you're on, baby. Maybe Lisa can help you with that. Anyway, so we, yeah, so you're a dad. Yeah, parents just, we know the minute, like the kids are in school and you get that phone call, the minute you see it, your phone, see my phone, just the notification just came up again. So your heart goes pounding out of your chest because you're like, oh my God, what happened? And of course they have to call me just as I'm literally jumping on a live show. So it is what it is. Okay. Anyway, yesterday was National Women's Day, right? So we did, I told you that my son over the weekend, he had asked me a couple of questions. He like interviewed me, right? So I thought that some of the questions were pretty cool. And I wanted to, you know, read them to you guys and discuss them. We discussed a couple of them yesterday, and people seem to really enjoy it. And we didn't get to finish because, of course, we all got to, I mean, I got to talk a lot. And so we all got to talk. So that's what ends up happening. So I'm going to go to some more of those questions, because apparently it's National, like, Women's Month or something. So I'm good talking about women all fucking month. I have no problem with that. No, I'm only kidding. Good morning, Rita P. How are you? Okay, so let's go in and let me see. First of all, are you guys sharing out the video? Are you tagging your friends? We need to get like the viewers up here. So I need your help to do that. It's not easy for everybody to get those numbers going. So when you share the videos and you tag your friends, it really helps us to get those numbers up. And for anybody that's on here that knows our regulars, if you don't see them on here, if you don't see your friends, please tag them. I don't see Laura. I don't see Monica. There's a lot of people I'm not seeing. Is that Simi? Hey, Simi. I don't see JR. I don't see Jesse. There are a lot of our regulars that I'm not seeing on here. So reach out to your friends and tag them and make sure they're okay, because they normally have coffee with us every morning. So we want to make sure that our friends are okay. Okay, so now here was a good question, and I'm going to post it. All right, you ready? Let me see if I can do this right here. Okay. Whoops, did I do that right? No. You know, when you can't see, it's not so easy. And this is a loaded question, how have your parents, like the way he words it, it's hysterical. No, that's a question mark. Parental figures, because, you know, he goes to a politically correct school, made an impact on your life. All right. Let's see. All right. Now, I am going to post the question. And again, if I'm not seeing your name displayed, it may be because you're on my personal page. I don't know for sure, but if you see where I'm posting from, that would be one of the pages that I would be able to see it. Okay, so the question is, how have your parents or parental figures made an impact on your life? Now, tell me this is not like a really deep question. I think it's really deep. I mean, it's almost too deep, you know, for coffee, right? But I think I need a sip of water. I need a shot of tequila with this one. So we all know that everybody's sitting in on the couch, right? The shrink couch. And what are they complaining about? Their parents, right? Because they, you know, we ruin our children, right? Not willingly, but we ruin our children, because whatever the fuck it is that we do, they're not in therapy at a young age because, you know, we didn't fuck them up. No, I'm only kidding. I mean, there are extenuating circumstances. But whenever you speak to a therapist, it always comes down to the parents, right? Because we've influenced our children in certain ways and we fuck them up. Hey, Michael Consuelo, I see you twitching. How are ya? So there's the question, and I appreciate you guys tagging everybody. I see you doing it, and thank you, thank you. So, Monica's away, but she'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Georgie, for letting me know, because I was a little concerned about her, because she's always like the first one here. So thank you so much for that. So Stephen said allowance. how have your parents or parental figures made an impact in your life? Allowance. You need to elaborate on that, Stephen, because I'm not sure what that means. Allowance, meaning allowing you to be here on this earth by giving birth. I'm not sure what that means. Thank you, Alyssa, my love. I appreciate it. So both my parents have good hearts, but I look out for everyone and caught that from my father. There's nothing he wouldn't do for anyone. Okay. I was brought up Italian values, and I am raising my kids the same. Okay. Let me give you my interpretation of this. How have your parents, parental figures, made an impact in your life? So that's, like I said, there's so many aspects. Thank you, Jody. There are so many aspects of this question, right? So the first aspect I'm going to go with is their influence on you. Money impacts their life. I give her allowance. Okay, but the question was, how have your parental figures made an impact on your life? Not how have you made an impact on your child's life? The question is, how your upbringing and the way your parents are, how did that translate to you? That's what I mean, Stephen. Let me see. Rosie, my maternal, I guess that's grandma, enforced structure and love. My mother provided love and taught me how to laugh at myself. Alyssa, I get my strength from my dad and my love and caring for others from my mom. Rosie said, absolutely. Stephen, okay. Stephen said, beating my ass. She did it constantly, so disciplined me. Again, how is that impacting your life? Do you feel that your mother beating your ass taught you discipline? Do you pass that on? Did you beat your children's ass because you felt, because either it was something you knew and something you were taught, or because it was something you knew and something you were taught and you felt worked? So this is the question that I'm asking. Tony, my parents being strict on me until high school definitely impacted my life and turned out to be a pretty good man. Okay, made me the veteran I am today by those lessons. Never hit my daughters. Okay, so then that's the question that I'm trying to ask, okay? Is the impact that it had. That's the question. The impact that their parenting had on your life. That's what I'm talking about. So now I'll give you another way to look at it. Just like I said, there are a lot of people, like Steven just brought up, that used to get the shit kicked out of them growing up. They got they got the belt. I mean, old school Italians, they'll hit you with anything they could fucking find. The phone cord, the pots and pans, the shoe. Sicilians are known for flinging the shoe. And some people got a whack, and some people they could have had their children taken away by Child Protective Services because they beat the shit out of them. So everybody's opinion is different on whether or not it is okay to, spank your children. I don't believe in beating your kids. That being said, sometimes you have those kids that are completely out of control, and the only way you're gonna get a handle on them is sometimes by showing them that they need to respect you, that they need to know who's boss, right? I mean, think about it. look at the the wild, right? There's a pecking order. And how do the animals know the pecking order? How do they know who the alpha is? Because when one of the, what is going on here? Why is my phone thingy going crazy? When somebody, I don't know what the fuck this is. Get off of here. When somebody, not somebody, but when an animal is trying to figure out what the scenario is. I got this like phone thing to, not a phone thing, but it's like one of these things, and it was like cheap. It was like $10 or whatever. And I have absolutely no fucking idea what it's doing right now. And it's annoying me. So in the jungle or the wild, you don't act the way you're supposed to, you get growled at, right? And if you still continue to not do what you're supposed to, you get, a whack. And if you still don't continue doing what you're supposed to, you may get a bite, right? And that's how you are taught your role. So there is always a form of structure in all, aspects, right? I have a boy, and I believe that boys, function differently than girls. My parents raised me that they didn't hit me. My brother used to beat the shit out of me, but my parents never put their hand on me. And they guilted me to death, which in my opinion is worse than getting hit. Because when your father says to you, I am so disappointed in you, that pain doesn't go away. If your father smacks you or beats you, obviously, yes, it's insulting. You don't understand why somebody that you love is hurting you, even though one thinks it's for one's own good. You get over whatever that felt like, right? You don't get over the emotional aspect that your parent just fucking physically harmed you, but you get over the fact that they hit you. So now when you do something wrong, you know that you may suffer the consequences. You may need to take a beating. And once the beating's over, you'll deal with it. But when someone says to you, you've completely disappointed me, I don't even want to speak to you, you're punished. Don't ask me. I was 15 or 16, and I think I failed the class. And my father let me do it the way I thought I needed to do it. And my father was very strict about school. And when the grades came in and I failed, because I was terrible at math, and I failed math, I failed something else, I had to go to night school. And when that came in, my father he never raised his voice at me. He just looked at me with his head down and he said, I am so disappointed in you. I let you do it your way, and these are the end results. So from now on, we do it my way. Don't ask me to go anywhere. Don't ask me for anything, and don't ask me to do anything, because the answer is no. And you have greatly disappointed me. Now, I haven't forgotten that. I'm 50. So I feel that appealing to someone's, heart, definitely has more of an impact, because pain is something that you can get over, physical pain, but that emotional scarring, that you don't get over. And you know what? I mean, I have to say it. I do it to my kid. And I don't do it the same way, but I make him see both sides to things, because awareness to me is everything. So don't get me wrong. If my son, when he was younger and he got out of line, I told him, do it again, and he was fresh. Do it again, I'm going to crack you in your mouth. and he would look at me like he was a little tough guy, and he would do it again. Bah! He got the fucking smack right in his mouth. And you know what the response was? Like, you know, shocked, like, oh my God, my mom did that to me. Now, did I physically hurt him? No, I didn't hit him that hard, but I shocked him. He still says he don't remember it. Meanwhile, he don't ever get fresh with me like that. So he remembers it, because all I got to do is go, excuse me? You do that again and you're going to get a crack right in your mouth. Never happens from that point forward. So yes, you need to establish respect. And it's not always, every kid is different. Every scenario is different. So you never really know the right technique until you know your child, right? But I feel that the impact that our parents or parental, guides, they tell us what we, in my opinion, what you will and will not do. So somebody like Steven got his ass beat and feels it made him a better person, but he chose not to beat his daughter's ass because he felt that he could make her a better person without beating her ass. So again, that's the question. So the question is, how did your parents and the way they brought you up, the way they disciplined you, the way they taught you, your values, your beliefs, how did that have an impact on who you are and how you parent, if that makes sense? So let me see. I'm going to read the comments. I know it might be a little bit of a, I just wanted to clarify on the question so that we could all be on the same page. So somebody said, laughing my ass off. They showed me everything not to do by doing those things. So there you go. So that's an answer to the question. So there are a lot of people that parent in that regard and say, you know what, my mom and dad did this, and I'm never doing that to my kid. So we learn, maybe, right? Because we always want better for our children, right? So it's a very, it's a slippery slope, because you really don't know what's best until you're in this situation, right? You could talk to me and you could say one word that breaks my fucking heart, and it will kill me. You could say that same word to somebody else and it will have no effect on them whatsoever. So you really, really have to know, know your audience, right? So Gina said, my mom molded me to be selfless and unconditional love and treat others as you want to be treated. She ruled with her hands, which made me swear never to put my hands on my kids. I still remember my screams. So there you go. And that gives me goosebumps. I mean, I remember my girlfriend, I thought we were cousins at the time, but I remember they beat her with anything they could get their hands on. And it blew me away. I mean, she had bruises on her body. They'd pick up the vacuum cleaner and fucking hit her with it. And she was little. And I'm like, oh my God. I love it, Karen. You are real. Thank you, Steven. All right, Gina. Coffee, pot, wine. I always dove under the blankets. Oh, there you go. So Eunice said, I never hit my kids. Georgie, my father was non-existent throughout. He was never there, and my mother brought 4 of us up. I think the fact that I was exclusively brought by women makes it much easier for me to connect with women. I don't connect well with men. Georgie, you know what's funny is that until recently, I never connected with women either. I only connect with men. I don't know if that's your upbringing. I don't know if it's just because you relate better, because maybe you were raised more emotional. I don't know. But I think it also has to do with personalities, and some people just gravitate to the opposite sex, and some people gravitate to the same sex. So, hard to say. Let me see. Tony, the beatings and that stare they gave me kept me on point. Facts. Right. Well, that's the thing. But you know what? I mean, again, you might have been a bad kid, Tony. So maybe they had to beat you. Like I said, they had to establish alpha. Maybe you were just that kid that even if they fucking beat you, you didn't give a shit, right? They'd keep you on point, but you'd still push the envelope, right? Some people, once the alpha is already determined, you don't go there. And every once in a while, your kid or even a human, right? In a relationship, right? You have your spouse or your significant other, whoever they are. There's that point, right? That line that sometimes people will cross. And if you don't get checked when you cross that line, the next time you're going to cross it again, and you're going to push it a little bit further. And then the next time, if you don't get checked, you're going to cross that line and you're going to push it a little bit further. As opposed to when someone crosses that line and you go, listen, I get it, but don't even go there. Because once you go there, I'm done. So now that person checks themselves and they hopefully won't go there, right? So it's all about, I said it yesterday, right? You teach people how to treat you by how you act and how you respond. If you say something to me and you pushed my buttons and I go, are you fucking kidding me right now? You need to know that if you do that again, it's not going to end well. So again, I'm going to read more of the comments. We are talking right now about how have your parents or parental figures made an impact on your life and on raising your own children. And yeah, life in general, right? But certainly in bringing up your children. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in to Coffee Talk with Karen. We are live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. We are live on my Facebook page, my Facebook group. So make sure you like the page, turn on your notifications, make sure you join the Real Talk Coffee Talk group. If you are on my personal page, most people are on the group or they are on the public page. If you are a YouTuber, a Twitcher, or a Periscope person, please go to Real Talk Karen Stacy and subscribe to those channels. And as always, I appreciate you guys tagging your friends, sharing the video. Let's get more people in on the conversation. So Angelo said, my father was a very motivated man, always taught me to go after what I want and never follow anyone unless their beliefs were my beliefs. Excellent advice. Lisa, I came from a big Italian family, crazy at times. I was driven and goal-oriented for what career I pursued based on my upbringing by getting involved in social work, children's services. My mother was a social worker as well. So yeah, I mean, you always see, my mother was a very career-oriented person. So I have impeccable work ethics. I don't get paid for this show. I'm here every single day at 11 o'clock. And you can, if I am here and it's 11:01, it was probably because I had a hard time getting online. I was raised that way. You make a, commitment, you follow through with the commitment. And if you continue to follow through, eventually it will grow and become something more. But you must treat everything in the highest regard, regardless, right? And that was how I was taught. I tell my son the same thing. You committed to this, you have to do it. You can't not be there, whether you want to or not. You committed, you got to go. That's it. Period. End of discussion. So this says, Facebook user, I can't see whoever's name this is. Raised in a traditional Italian household, I was taught discipline and values. It has impacted my life because I instill the same with my children. I teach them how I was taught. The hardest part of teaching them the value of $1, but I also try to teach them how to save. A whack is okay. Yeah, I mean, I think a whack is okay too, if necessary, if warranted, 100%. But yes, it is not easy instilling old school values in a new school world, right? And that's the problem, is that so many parents have just given up. Instead of continuing to do that, they raise their hands and go, oh, you know what? Nothing. They don't listen to anything I say. Oh, they're impassible. Oh, they're always on the computer. They're always talking to their friends. Well, hello? You don't just put your hands up in the air and let it go. You tell them. You can't do that. You can't give up on your children. So a lot of people, it's just too hard, right? I worked all day. I'm exhausted. Fuck it. When you're raising your kids and they're on the tablets, the tablet became a new babysitter. Oh, I don't have to talk to my kid. I don't have to teach my kid anything. He loves being on the computer. Let me just give him the iPad. And now I don't have to teach my child anything. Let them go online and just keep themselves busy. Why? Because maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're fighting with your hubby, or you were fighting with your wife. Like I said, you're tired. You got work to do. You want to talk to your friends, whatever the scenario is, right? But you got to remember that you can't drop the ball on your children, because it's your responsibility to teach them these things. They are certainly not learning that shit online. Jody, my dad was pretty strict and my mom was the pushover. So my sister and I use that to our advantage. So in my adult years, I've always tried to do just the opposite. For instance, when I see someone getting used or taken advantage of, I always try to step in. But I will say, though, I was the strict parent and my ex-husband was the pushover. And again, I think that that's important, right? That's good cop, bad cop, right? So you got to have the person that loves you to death and that you can talk to and you're not going to get in trouble with. But then you got to suffer the consequences because there's going to be someone else, right? Wait until your father gets home, right? The famous last words. But it works because then it's like they know, okay, mommy got my back, but if I don't do the right thing, mommy's going to tell daddy and then I'm going to get into trouble, right? So it's, you have to have the good cop. Even in business, it's the same way, right? If you have a partner, you got to have the one that says, you know what, okay, I see what you want. You know what, let me talk to my partner and let me see what they say, because I can't make a decision unless I run this by my partner. So if you're the one that always agrees to lowering the price or always agrees to doing whatever, then you have that other person and you turn around and you say, you know what, Frank, I'm so sorry. I discussed it with my partner. I can't, we're partners. He won't agree to that number. The best they could do is this, and that's how you negotiate, right? But if you don't have that, that good cop, bad cop thing, it definitely makes it a little bit trickier. When you have that person to balance off of, you have a little more leeway, especially if you and that person are copacetic, where they can feed off of it and they already know what you're trying to do. Because then there's always the age old, Ma, can I go to the party? What did your father say? Well, daddy said to ask you. And daddy said, if you said it's okay, then I can go. Right? So then after that happens 16 times, you go, daddy said it was okay if I go to the party. Can I go? Right? Which you're lying, because daddy never said that. But you already know that she's going to ask you what he said. So if you just say he said yes, then you're good. And you don't learn until when they go, I never told her she could go to that party. And then it's like, uh-oh, busted, right? But sometimes people don't communicate. So that mom may never find out that the father never actually said anything and that the kid played her, and it happens. Ariana, my parents weren't really on point with parenting. My father was too strict and physically abusive, old school Italian. My mom was loving, but never gave me advice or guidance. The reflection of who we are as adults is the result of how parents treat us. So I agree with a lot of what you are saying, in the sense that I do feel that what our parents, instill in us, is much of our core and our beliefs. That being said, once we reach a certain point and we become adults, we have to take accountability for ourselves and our own actions, right? So you can't really, as an adult, you are the product of your parents, but you might, if your parents didn't do a great job with you, then you're not a good product. So you have to recognize that your parents didn't create a good product, and now you have to sit in a therapist's office to undo everything that your parents did to you so that you could make a good impact and you can change your life, right? There's nothing worse than a 50-year-old that's still blaming their parents for the way they are. Are you serious right now? Yes, it has an impact on your life, but we need to recognize that certain things were not as they should have been. And we need to heal from those things. And then if you do not know how, you need the tools from a therapist or someone, a healer, that can help you heal, because there are holes that are left there when somebody isn't really there for you, when you kind of had to come to your own conclusions, right? Not the same thing, but like me, when I'm trying to do video shit and tech stuff, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm pressing buttons and I'm probably doing a lot of things wrong. But since nobody's teaching me, I'm just pressing the buttons and hoping for the best. Now, if someone actually sat down and taught me what to do, then I would have to unlearn all the bad things that I was pressing and resist just pressing that button and going about it this way. You know what I'm saying? So it's very difficult when you are programmed like this to now erase your programming and now reprogram, right? And you know what that is? That's amazing if you are able to do that. If you're able to recognize that you came from a place, and that's what I mean by we learn from our parents a lot. And as an adult, you have to say to yourself, you know what? I really don't agree with that at all. My father and I have completely different political beliefs. And although I think I respect his opinion, I respect his point of view, I see what he means with things. I don't always agree. So we have to find our own voice. We have to find our own, tools. And we always have to kind of reinvent ourselves, because we really are a product of our parents until we become old enough to learn how to form our own opinions. So if you're raised by parents that are, remember, that thing, right? So they always say, you're not born prejudiced. So if your parents raise you, and I always use this, right? If your parents say to you, every time they hit you, every time you see a tall person, you're going to become prejudiced towards a tall person because you get hit every time a tall person comes around. So it's the same type of thing. If we are having dialogue where we're separating religion, we're separating race, we're separating gender, all of these things, that's what we're teaching our children, that we should judge and we should separate. So a lot of, especially old school, they believe what they believe, and that's okay. But we have to get to a point in our lives where we take accountability for our own actions, and we may agree with them and continue to follow in that, or we may say, you know what? I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. And then you feel like you're wrong and you're going against your family because you were raised to believe those things, right? So it's a tricky, thing, but I believe that there is a way to incorporate it all. And I think that all of the sum of it all becomes who you are, and what you learn from it, what you take from it, and what you do with it. So Steven said, the beating gave me psychological damage that I did not resolve to the point that I am dealing with those issues today. It's typical in adults not able to resolve issues from their childhood. Just ask around about people's childhood. Absolutely. Disappointment is the hardest pill to swallow, and my kids know this. Yes, I agree with that. Eunice, but now no, they're teenagers and they think is the same way. Jody, both my parents are full-blooded Irish and just as strict as Italians. Yeah, listen, every, ethnicity has, has their thing. Alyssa, my father ruled with an iron fist. We had rules and boundaries, and when those rules were broken and those boundaries were crossed, you got a good old-fashioned Italian ass kicking. At one was enough to never make the same mistake again. Yes. So Eunice said my daughter got hit on the mouth from her dad. Wow, I'm behind on these comments, huh? Jody, popped in the mouth enough to get their attention. Right. Sometimes you just have to interrupt it. It's the shock value. Like, what? That's what it takes. You gave him a wake-up notice. Absolutely. No shit. Hold on. I just went. Oh, there we go. Oh, not too bad. I'm not too bad on the comments here. Alyssa, also make it perfectly clear to us kids, don't ever let me get a phone call from your teacher, principal, or another parent because you were doing something wrong. And don't ever come home and I find out you got in a fight and didn't fight back, because the ass kicking you'll get from me doesn't compare. You know what? That is very true. And that's called checking yourself, right? My mother used to tell me, make sure whatever you do doesn't show. And what did she mean by that? Don't get a hickey and don't get pregnant. But I tell my son the same thing. When we're someplace or whatever, and I say, don't ever let me hear from somebody that you were cursing or that you had a fresh mouth or you put your hands on somebody or you did this or you did that, because that's a reflection on me. And I don't raise you to speak that way. I don't raise you to act that way. So if I ever hear that, you're going to be in trouble. And yes, I have had to teach my kid that, because my kid got bullied. He's huge and he could knock anybody over. He picks me up, but yet he got bullied. Why? Because he's a mush. And he got bullied and he's all heart. And I tell him the same thing. Next time that happens, punch him right in the fucking face, which I never, ever, ever would have said to him. It was something his father would have said to him. And it's since he's dead, he jumped in my body and it just comes out. And I say, well, then punch him in the face. And it's not me. But you have to establish boundaries. And what happens is, again, boys are a little bit different, right? So that's how they learn. How many guys are the best of friends with somebody they punched in the face? Most guys, that's how they work it out. You're an asshole. You're an asshole. You punch each other in the face or whatever. 10 minutes later, you shake hands. You establish the fact that you don't fuck with me. I establish the fact that I don't fuck with you. And now there's respect. Is it right? Is it wrong? Who knows? But it works. It's how it goes. And again, it goes back to who is the alpha. So you know what? You got to establish that somehow, some way. Bobby. Yes, I made some shirts that you would probably really, really like, actually. I made some for the guys. Nobody seemed interested in them. I'm going to have to post it again because I know shirts that you'll like, Bobby. My mom was awesome. Slipper and shoe thrower, always hit the target. That's my mother-in-law. Wow, Karen, do bad kids deserve beatings? No, I didn't. Again, I already spoke about this, Stephen. I don't believe that kids deserve beatings. What I do believe is that sometimes when a kid is completely out of control, you need to do what you need to do to get control over them. When I watch these nanny shows and I watch all these things, I go, are you kidding me right now? And the kid's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get the fuck out of here. You're going to disrespect me? You're out of your mind. So you got to do what you got to do to get them back. And this fucking timeout shit in the corner, that don't work. I would put my son in the corner for timeout and he'd be like, all right. And he'd sit there and look at me. And I'm like, this little shit. I'd say to him, you know what? I'm going to take that away from you. And he'd go, okay, here. And he'd hand it to me. Called my bluff on it. Yeah, that's what I was dealing with. So you have to step it up, because once you think they tell you that this is how you're supposed to discipline your children, it don't always work, because one size does not fit all. So I am not telling anybody that I condone beating their children. Just to be clear on this, I am condoning that you should have control over your children, and that you need to find a way to have control over your children. Because if you don't have control over your children, then God only knows what they will end up being and becoming. Because if they don't respect you, there is no one else that they're going to respect. And that's the truth. What Tony said, facts, facts, facts. Always had to push the line. Yep, see, I told you. I figured that much. Lisa, my husband was raised a very, very strict military household, not very nurturing. So our different upbringings has always been a constant struggle raising our children. It's been difficult, I'm sure. Yeah, Dr. Karen, I don't know who wrote that, but thank you. I only play one on the radio. My parents brought us up with manners and respect, not only for ourselves, but for others. Absolutely, Alyssa. Grandma, Rosie said, Grandma always believed the teacher was right. I taught my daughter that wasn't true. I agree with that too. They are not always right, but a lot of times they are. You just have to know your kid. Like my son will tell me something like, like, oh, well, we didn't even get a break for lunch. And I'm like, what? I'll call that school up right now and I'll tell that teacher, my kid needs to fucking eat. But then if I do talk to the teacher on a random thing and I'll say, Noah tells me that he doesn't really eat. And she goes, well, it takes him 20 minutes to get his food. He's talking to all of his friends and he's too busy, minding everybody else's business, and he doesn't eat. And that's why he doesn't get a chance to finish it. Okay, well, then starve. You are supposed to sit down and eat. And I come from that background. That's how I am. You got 20 minutes to eat. Shut up, mind your business, and eat your fucking food. If you are minding everybody else's business and you don't eat your food and you have 20 minutes, then whose fault is it? Just saying. Rita said, oh, thank you, Angelo. Angelo said, great show. Rita, seeing my mom struggling as a single parent was nothing more than a high school diploma motivated me to get in an education and career, which saved my ass through my divorce. You know what, Rita? It's so important. Remember I told you the other day, that Wednesday, I was packing everything up to send you, like I sent you your gear and everything. And I was taking a lot of care in trying to fold it and make it look nice, make sure, there was no dog hair on it, et cetera, et cetera. And, Noah was watching me and he said, just to reiterate, Mom, you took such great care in what you were doing. Now, I wasn't taking great care in what I was doing because he was watching me. I didn't even realize he was watching me, right? But I taught him a lesson right there. So when he said that to me, he goes, wow, Mom, I'm really impressed with, how meticulous you're being, and what great care you take in doing this. And I said, my name is on this, Noah. So it has to look that way. So, it's reflecting on me. So that was a life lesson I didn't even look to teach him. It just happened because I led by example. And I feel that way a lot. My son has seen me triumph over these past 6 years, and he knows that I can do anything. It may be hard. I may screw up, but I taught him you got to at least go for it because you never know till you try. Eunice, some parents don't care. I know. Sadly, that is very true. Good morning, Ed. How are you? Michael Consuelo, I had to help my dad working around the house before playing or going out. I know how to do everything myself, but will never ask my kids to help me. He has to enjoy his youth. You know what? I disagree with that, Michael. I think you're doing a grave injustice to your children by not having them work side by side with you so that they can learn too. I took my son, I went food shopping, and I went to the depot, and they have these huge, things you have to push. And I said, you know what? You're coming with me and you're pushing the cart. And he looks at me and I said, you know what? He's got to learn. And I made him do it because that's part of growing up. It's part of learning responsibility. And in my opinion, it's part of teaching him how to be a man. When anybody ever does any kind of, home improvement things or helps and whatever, I always make my kid stand there with them and try to learn. When the guy comes and when somebody comes and shovels, Richie was outside with him. I said, Noah, go outside with Richie and learn how to shovel. I was raised that way where my parents did not teach me a lot of things. And I was not a better person for it. I truly believe that being side by side with a parent or a figure, a parental figure, will do wonders for your child to succeed in life. That's just my personal opinion. All right. Stephen, how can parents decide the right amount of corporal punishment, physical punishment, such as caring or flagging? So, again, I think it comes down to the individual. Karen, I'm 50 and my mom's beatings still remember what kind of impact it had. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, Tamara, how are you? Hey, Brian, how are you? Okay, where am I here? Wow, I only was good old spaghetti. Okay. Let me see. My baby got bullied in the other school. Lovely. A kid called my mom a hoe, not in those words. He got the beat down, then wanted to be my friend after. There you go. You established, Brian, who the alpha was. Alyssa, I just want to say one more thing. Those Italian ass kickings we got when we when deserved was not to hurt you, but to teach you a lesson. Yeah, I mean, again, different strokes for different folks, but absolutely, that's my point, is that you have to figure out how the lesson is going to get driven in. And, there aren't a lot of parents that will say what's going to work better. They're going to do what they're going to do regardless, because it's their child and they're going to do it. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they actually ruin you. So look at Steven. He's saying that he can't forget those beatings that he got from his mom, and he's 50 years old. Gina, there's a difference between a beating than a smack in the mouth. Yes, I agree with that. Like I said, I do not advocate any beatings. I do not advocate any of that. I advocate keeping control over your children. I never hit my child before. I can't do that. Hey, Colleen, how are you? I agree. Gina said, I agree. I bring my kids shopping, and when I'm doing things around the house, I show them laundry, cooking, etc. Absolutely. I think responsibility is huge. So we can continue this conversation perhaps tomorrow. We'll work on this. I thought they were great. I mean, I only got one thing, and there were more aspects to this, and we didn't even get to it because look at what a topic, right? So I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated in the conversation, for everyone that that was like transparent enough to to share this with us. I definitely, it's something to think about, right? How your your parental guidance impacted your life. And maybe today it's something that you'll think about, and maybe you'll think about it and say, God, I hated when my parents did that. Or maybe you'll say, wow, I just so appreciated that my parents did this for me. And, you'll reflect a little bit. So today is 2 for Tuesday. So don't forget, tonight I have Angelo Michelli. We're going to be talking about some more life stuff. So make sure you tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for Real Talk with Karen Stacy, live on MiamiMikeRadio.com, live on Facebook. Don't forget to follow and turn on your notifications on the Karen Stacy page. Don't forget to go to the Real Talk Coffee Talk group and join it. Don't forget to subscribe to Real Talk Karen Stacy on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Periscope. So I love you all. Thank you so much for participating. And I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Mwah. Bye, guys.